omniscient. I know as God knows. As God is all loving, I love as God loves. And then step 3, the fire represents the fiery self-talk we need when we realize realization of treatment. And then Thanksgiving comes, and then we release our treatment into law. And then there's an after step. That's where we chop wood and carry water, and we need to stay attuned to spirit. Now those lines represent, like I might write a daily schedule, that I feel I'm inspired after treatment. But I gotta go by my feelings. If what I write down leaves me feeling exhausted and oppressed, something's wrong with this picture. It's overcrowded when the source of that list comes not from spirit, but from ego's to-do list that wants to beat me up. And warning, this list never ends. So, if that happens, then I know I need to put the list through the looking glass and go back into meditation, go back into visioning, and then after it comes out of the looking glass, everything's still here, but it's reframed as a menu from spirit. So I don't have to resist. I have joyful anticipation. I just pick one meal at a time, including dessert. To stay attuned to affirmations, I use Bhakti Yoga's joyful devotional energy, sometimes to inspire new lyrics to beloved ancestral melodies. This accesses all the joy and energy invested by everyone who ever lovingly sang these tunes. So we experienced this morning when Lisa Renee sang Awaken All Hearts. We received joyful energy from 3 sources. Lisa Renee's inspiring voice, channeling her own love, was 1. The New Thought lyrics. But 3 was all the love energy invested over 2 centuries, every time Americans sung the national anthem, including today, this holiday when we remember our veterans. And likewise, I found that singing God is Free provides a joyful nudge and reminder to practice spiritual line treatment. At Tuesday's Yeshua Yoga workshop that I'm teaching, we experience Bhakti Yoga through the synergy of multiple inspirational sources. Every half hour, Holly Myers will be inspiring us with her violin music, playing a beloved ancestral melody, adapted with New Thought lyrics, starting with Ode to Joy. We have the lyrics from the 23rd Psalm, and then we synchronize yoga. For example, loving spirit is my shepherd, I have everything I need, to green grasses by still waters, receiving where spirit leads. So this is Tuesday. Now, Disney's Pinocchio story. It's all about spiritual mind treatment. Well, the part we know, Geppetto, the old woodcutter, wishes upon a star for his puppet to live. A blue fairy approves the wish, provided Pinocchio grows spiritually. But he skips 2 days of school, and he barely escapes slavery. And then he finds Geppetto in the belly of a whale. And he builds a fire, and that makes the whale sneeze, and they all escape. At last, Pinocchio becomes brave, truthful, and unselfish. He receives the gift of life and becomes a real boy. Some see this as a simple morality fable, teaching middle-class values like going to school. Others have dissed the old man's loving ways as Geppetophilia. But this myth is a hero's journey like Star Wars. There's at least 2 features in common, according to Joseph Campbell. Both Pinocchio and Luke Skywalker go on a father quest. And the Star Wars heroes, remember when they were trapped in the trash compactor in the first movie? Campbell said that was their experience in the belly of the whale. And he calls that the dark night of the soul we all experience prior to liberation. And it's also a metaphor for the womb, the tomb of Christ. Our Easter eggs are metaphors for the womb and the tomb of Christ. And Pinocchio rose from the whale on his 3rd day. And Geppetto was Italian for Joseph, recalling another carpenter becoming a dad through non-sexual means. Even the Blue Fairy is a cross between a maternal Madonna and an angel visiting Joseph in his sleep. I believe Pinocchio's went on a hero's journey that made him not just a boy, but a real man. Because he was unschooled, but he accessed mind. So he knew all about how to build a fire and how to make a whale sneeze. So he became free of dependency, even from his dad. Now free to live on his own, free of the belief that 40 is the new 10. Now this hero's journey may be seen, I believe, as two parts of one soul becoming whole through spiritual mind treatment. When You Wish Upon a Star is very much like Ernest Holmes' writing. So the beginning of treatment is done by the Geppetto character. He affirms God's reality on the star, and then he wants to co-create. But by the time they get into the whale, there are two parts to the one character. And both the older and the newer creative sides of Geppetto and Pinocchio together realize the co-creation of step 3. The fire they build is a metaphor for the fiery language that both sides of the soul need to get on board vision of spirit through treatment steps 3, 4, and 5. Now stay tuned, and we're going to take another look at this inspiring story in more detail. So brave, truthful, and unselfish is good enough for Pinocchio to evolve body, mind, and heart to earn life itself. In books like Power versus Force and others, we learn that courage is the first step on the spiritual path, but it's still far short of spiritual maturity. After all, 100 million soldiers who fought the 20th century's wars, and even the 19 hijackers on 9/11, were also brave, truthful, and unselfish. For the finite selves of body, mind, and heart need to hitch their wagon to the star of the infinite soul on its mission. So fortunately, Jesus of Nazareth covered all 4 parts with what he called the greatest commandment. Love God with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole mind, and your whole energy. And there's spiritual paths of yoga that correspond. Bhakti yoga develops our heart. Karma yoga helps the soul in its mission. Jnana yoga is like our new thought for the mind. And Hatha yoga is for the energy of the body. These correspond to the 4 functions of Jung: feeling, intuition, thinking, and sensation. And then the right brain gets involved, the 4 suits of the tarot, and the modern playing cards aligned with these, and the elements of water, fire, air, and earth. All this is a lot to remember, but story makes it more fun. You have the archetypes of Tin Man, Dorothy, Scarecrow, and Lion. Scarecrow needs a brain. Whoa! Scarecrow needs a brain to love God with his whole mind. Tin Man seeks his whole heart. Lion, like Pinocchio, needs courage to love God and life with all the physical energies of his body. These 3 represent the temporal sides of the self in service of the soul, here called Dorothy. She seeks her mission to go home. After she first seeks deliverance through an external wizard, Dorothy's intuition and self-reliance shows her that all the resources are within. She repeats her affirmation, "There's no place like home," and achieves her mission at last. Of all the interpretation of this great American myth, my favorite is The Wizard of Oz as a metaphor for baseball. The 4 friends even struggle with the temptation faced by athletes of all ages: substance abuse. Recall their dark night of the soul in the poppy field. Then in the bottom of the 9th, with Scarecrow on 3rd, Tin Man on 2nd, Lion on 1st, Dorothy repeats her affirmation in home plate. She clicks her heels. "There's no place like home." Nothing happens. Strike 1. Clicks her heels again. Strike 2. And then she clicks her heels, there's no place like home, and hits a grand slam home run out of the park and brings everybody home. Baseball and play are metaphors for God, according to Indian spirituality. And there's two concepts we get from the ancient Indians. One of them is called Leela. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Leela, L-I-L-A, refers to the creative play of the omni-playful spirit. Play creates joy, as Jesus knew when he taught us to be as little children. Did I get that right, Rabbi? Okay, then when you add rules to play, you get sport. And that's another metaphor for God. And this also comes from ancient India. This is called Dharma. And Dharma refers to both universal law and the behavior that aligns with it. Because youth may initially feel rebellious against lawful authority of parents, teachers, police, and others who demand compliance with rules they had no part in making. But sport offers all generations the way to embrace law as their path to success in the activities they love. Rebels soon learn that to emulate their chosen role models, they must totally align with the laws of the game and natural laws of physical conditioning. Even computer games are won by aligning to law. Emerson teaches God is the source of everything, including all the creative arts, which manifest by individual access of one mind. While spirit is also the source of all our sports and games. Two historical examples suggest some synchronicities. Y'all know how